Hello students. Today in your algebra class you're going to be working on multiplying exponents. So, couple quick warm-up problems. So this will be a really good time for you to pause your screen and see if you could solve these on your own. Hopefully you've paused your screen and you're now just checking your answers. For number 1, it should be 2 to the third power. And for the second one, notice because we're dividing, these 2's cancel out, these 2's cancel out, and so do these, leaving you with an answer of 2. So at the end of this lesson, you will be able to combine terms when multiplying exponents, and you should be able to combine like terms with multiplying exponents with powers. So a power to a power is what I usually refer to them as. For example 1, all we're really trying to do is simplify it. In terms of the x's, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's. And because they're all raised to the first power, what we really have here is x to the first power, x to the first power, x to the first power, multiple times. So let's just model that real quick. And all of these, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This becomes x to the fifth power, and that's our answer. Example 2, we have x squared times x to the fifth. Slightly more spicy than the rest of them, so what we're going to do is we're going to break them down. So x squared, you know this is in red, x to the fifth is in blue. So when we break it down, x squared is the equivalent of x times x, and x to the fifth is x times x times x 5 times. Now, because we're multiplying these values with the same base, the base being x, you're left with x to the 7th power because there are 7 of them. So as we're going through this, you should be thinking of a shortcut. Rather than having to write x squared 2 times and x to the fifth 5 times, there has to be a faster way of getting from here, x squared times x to the fifth, to x to the 7th without having to write each one down individually. So let's try example 3. Example 3 is x to the 4th times x squared, or x cubed. We break it down, we get x 4 times and x 3 times. And that also gives us x to the 7th power. Okay, and for example 4, same idea. We have x to the 5th times x to the negative 6th. So hopefully by now you've realized that when we multiply exponents with the same base, you probably want to write this note down. When multiplying exponents with the same base, we add their exponents and leave the base alone. So x to the a, for example, times x to the b would be equal to x to the a plus b. So we're just adding their exponents up. In this instance, we can separate this again. We have x to the 5th times x to the negative 6th. We also have y to the 2nd times y to the to the 3rd. Now, because we just looked at that note, we should know that this is y to the 2 plus 3, which is 5. And the x should be x to the 5 plus negative 6 is negative 1. Therefore, your final answer should read x to the negative 1st power, y to the 5th. Next part, we have anytime you see x squared and then in parentheses you see another power, we call this x squared quantity to the 3rd power. And quantity tells us how many we actually have. So if this is a quantity of 3, that means we have x squared 3 times. So when you look at example 1, You can break it down like we did in the second line, and that gives us x to the 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is equal to x to the 6th power. Again, you should be thinking shortcuts. How did we get from the second line? How can we simplify it for the first? Example 2, we have that same quantity 4 times. We end up with 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 16. X to the 12th power. So hopefully you're noticing by now, and please make sure you write this note down, when multiplying exponents with a power to a power, we multiply the exponents. But make sure that you notice the difference when we do these, because in all of our examples on this page, there is only one x and there are 2 exponents, and that's when it's a power to a power. So for example 3, we're going to make this a little bit easier and almost make it look like we're distributing. So this 3 is going to essentially be distributed to this 4, and this 3 to the exponent of 3, which is 1. So this will end up to be 3 to the 3rd power, and x to the 12th power. See how we just multiplied? Of course, we want to simplify, so this turns out to be 27x to the 12th power. In example 4, same idea. Distribute this 4 to the 3 and to the exponent of the 2. You're left with 2 to the 4th power times 10 to the 12th power, leaving us with 16 times 10 to the 12th power. Now it's your turn. Try to solve problems 1, 2, and 3 on your own. Add these onto your notes, and that's all for now. See you guys next time.